when I decided that I wanted to do an Ohio State Big Ten tournament preview for this week, I thought I was going to be fairly happy, pretty excited for what was coming up. Now I look at it, I'm a little nervous, I'm not going to lie. Ohio State had a great run, but they are absolutely sputtering now. They've lost 4 in a row, and I am definitely nervous. Now, don't get me wrong. The Big Ten has been unquestionably the best conference in college basketball this season. And the last slate of games Ohio State has went through has been an absolute gauntlet. They had number 3 ranked Michigan, now number 2. They had Michigan State, who by their standards is having a down year. But you never count out a Tom Izzo coached team in February and March. And it was in the Breslin Center. Even more to their advantage. You had top 10 ranked Iowa. Luka Garza is going to be the Naismith Player of the Year. Ohio State beat him pretty well earlier in the year, but they just kept feeding Garza, and Garza took it to him. And then you had the return of Ayo Dosunmu and the mammoth human Kofi Cockburn and top 5 ranked Illinois. They've basically now locked themselves as a 1 seed going into the big dance themselves. I thought Ohio State was going to be the number 1 seed. Now looking at it, seems more likely at 2, possibly 3. However, I just want to focus on the Big Ten tournament for this week. They've locked themselves into the 5 seed behind Michigan, Illinois, Iowa, and Purdue. Now, given what Ohio State has struggled with recently, think, oh boy, that's not great. However, the schedule does set up fairly well for them to at least win a couple games. They've got 1 bye as opposed to the double bye that the top 4 seeds will have. But their first game is going to be the winner of, I believe, the 12th and 13th seed in the Big Ten. So you feel confident about that. And then that winner goes on to play Purdue. Purdue, however, has beaten Ohio State twice this season. So there's still reason to be nervous. Unlike the other top 4 seeds, there's not 1 or 2 guys where you like, this guy's just going to take over and there's nothing Ohio State can do to stop him. So I feel better about their chances to stop Purdue as opposed to going up against Hunter Dickinson and Franz Wagner or Ayo Dosunmu and Kofi Cockburn or Luka Garza. I mean, all those players are insane. Now, to be fair, Hunter Dickinson and Luka Garza, if they were 4 inches shorter, they would be a lot easier to stop. But they're not. They have that great height, and they know what to do with it. And plus, someone like Luka Garza, that boy can shoot. I mean, he's taking the bigs outside of the 3-point line, and he's just saying, good luck stopping it. They can't. Ohio State absolutely struggled. And this is the thing. When you're heading into these tournaments, it has to run through E.J. Liddell. It has to. When E.J. Liddell is going and he is able to feed open 3-point shots, Ohio State's almost unstoppable. But you've seen a lot of these bigs they're double teaming Liddell, or if it's someone like Dickinson or Garza or Coburn, they're just handling him themselves. Thus, the guards are much more able to guard Ohio State's Dwayne Washington and C.J. Walker and Justin Arns. They're not as lethal from outside when that's happening. But even so, you got to keep feeding Liddell. You have to. He's shown even when going up against these bigger dudes, that he is still crafty enough to get to the hoop, and if not make the basket, at least get fouled. He's unquestionably their best player. The tough thing, though, is when he struggles, you've got all these other guys who then try to play hero ball. Dwayne Washington especially. He tries to force shots when he's not super open, or if he's been struggling, he immediately just tries to shoot his way out of it instead of taking a step back, maybe feeding someone who's a little more open or feeling it a little more, like Justin Arns. If Justin Arns can get going, that's an insane weapon that Ohio State has. He's arguably the best three-point shooter Ohio State's had since John Deaver. A big concern I have, though, especially going up against a team that has a legit big man. Now, Ohio State does have Kyle Young and Zed Key, and I absolutely love their energy and what they're able to do. But these other bigs, they're able to take it to them. Maybe not always do exactly what they want, but they pretty well can. My concern, though, earlier in the year when Ohio State was on an absolute tear, big thing a lot of people were saying was that it could come from anywhere. Ohio State could have one or two guys hot, and it'd be a different guy each night. It could be Liddell and Washington. It could be Arns and Walker. It could be Sewing and Young. Different people each night. But if you've watched these last four games, a huge concern is that you've seen late in games, they go absolutely ice cold. And it's not just Liddell or Washington. It's everyone. They're going on 4 or 5 minute stretches without a field goal. They cannot have that if they're going to make a run in either tournament. I believe 2 games in the Big Ten tournament are winnable for them at least. But if they have these stretches where they cannot hit water if they fell out of a boat, they're not going to do anything in either. The thing that people are praising them so much for, and what made them such a dangerous team earlier in the year, is now seeming to come back to bite them. Because you think, there's no way they all get cold like that. They have all gotten cold. And then instead of consistently feeding E.J. Liddell like he should, Dwayne Washington tries to play hero ball, shoot himself out of a slump. It often fails. And he just tries to do too much. Instead of, when he's at his best, take the lanes he's given, take the open threes he's given, and just play smooth. They're playing rough. They're seemingly lacking confidence, especially against these bigger teams. And it shouldn't be like that. Because that Michigan game was a very good game. Either team could or should have won. But ever since then, either they've been exposed or their confidence is absolutely shaken. When you get consistent close losses like this, and then have a blowout mixed in there, it'll shake you up a little bit. So hopefully a return to a smaller opponent to open up the tournament will get them going again. They need it. They're shaking right now, and this is a very talented team. When they're playing at their best, they are very dangerous. It's March, though. Anything can happen. I will talk to you next week.